we're really thinking about this as, I hate you saying the word agentic. It's true. We're really thinking of this as an agentic platform where it's opened up and really customizable, right? That is the opportunity, not something that sits on one channel, but actually something that is everywhere where your shoppers are and trained on that richness of data and customer relationships that you have.
Welcome to the Lessons for Tomorrow podcast. Think of the show as the motivational poster in your ear. Each episode features lively conversations with technology and marketing leaders about what's changing now and what's coming next. We'll unpack what's working, what leaders are rethinking, and how they're planning for the future. Every guest brings a different story, a different perspective, and a different approach. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share this episode with others. Let's jump into the episode.
Hi everyone, I'm your host, Catherine Espada, and today we have joining me Gina Potenza, Senior Partner Program and Strategy Manager here from Klayvio, and Nadine Howell, who's our Senior Email and Mobile Marketing Strategist here at AmericanEagle.com. And really, we're going to chat through the post-purchase experience and where brands actually win or lose in loyalty. There's a few other things we want to point out. We had a really incredible meeting with Klayvio last Wednesday. So many things came out of it. Leads are always a good thing, but just a ton of new things that Klayvio is working on with the team. And Gina was incredibly inspiring. So super excited to have this podcast to be able to jump on and blab about everything we do with Klayvio. We have quite a few clients. I took over our partnership a little over 6 months ago. It's growing for sure. And yeah, we can't wait to see what we do for the rest of the year here. So I'll hand it over to Gina here. Welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, it's great to meet everyone and everyone who's dialing in or joining, listening. What is this format? I forget already.
All of it.
What year is it? Yeah, exactly. Whatever. It's summer. That's all I need to know. But so great to meet you all here at Klayvio. Gina Potenza. I really think about our go-to-market strategy in terms of partnerships and also direct to brands and how we think about all the new goodness that's rolling out and how you all can get the most and keep up to date with what's happening with Klayvio really as a platform as we keep expanding our CRM.
Great. And then we also have Nadine here from our team at AmericanEagle.com.
Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Nadine. I've been at AmericanEagle.com for a little over 4 years now. Started on the email team and then have branched off learning a lot about SMS and all the other cool mobile marketing features that are coming out, especially within Klayvio. I learned Klayvio here at AmericanEagle.com, and it's absolutely my favorite email service provider ever. So anytime clients dot in and I'm like, maybe we should get you into Klayvio. So it's been great working here, and I can't wait to learn about and talk about all the great features that Klayvio has to offer.
Awesome. Thank you, guys. So we can just kind of start off. I know that there's a lot we want to cover today, but really what we kind of wanted to chat about was where brands win or lose loyalty-wise. So I think a great starting point is just, I would say from Gina first, what do you think misunderstand the most about loyalty today? I know we kind of chatted about this in person, but...
Yeah, I feel like it's the thing that I've been talking about for the last few months now, which is loyalty, particularly loyalty programs. And when we think about like, we're all thinking about what do we do in terms of like the cost of acquiring new customers has been going up consistently. It feels like for 4 or 5 years, we've been having the same conversation every time a marketer is looking at their numbers about rising CAC. And actually thinking about not just how do we think about repeat purchases as a way to combat CAC, as a way to grow, but actually thinking about loyalty as the relationship with the actual human behind the purchase, right? And thinking about the entire journey when someone interacts with you, where loyalty actually starts at the research phase, right? Some of it starts with the things you all can't impact, right? Where it is the word of mouth of it all, but also the discovery and how all of that is changing with AI. Loyalty actually starts there all the way through to the customer support experience post purchase. And then what actually turns someone into a loyal repeat buyer and actually what kind of loyal repeat buyer, right? I think everyone learned their lesson in terms of discounting, and we all are trying to crawl our way out of having cohorts of buyers who are they only buy when there's a discount. I'm definitely guilty of that with some brands where I say, I'm okay, I'll wait until you have a discount going. But right, what about the brands that I'm willing to pay full price for? What are the actual differences in those interactions throughout the entire journey? And how do we grow that cohort, right? And so it's the actual human behind it. And how do we drive that loyalty and behaviors that can lead to growth?
Yeah, definitely. And Nadine, are you kind of seeing that on the client side as well?
Absolutely. I feel like as marketers and brands, we just spend so much time capturing that customer, whether it's, targeting the right ads, the abandoned carts. We spend so much time trying to get them to purchase. And then what happens after? Are they like forgotten about? Can we nurture them a little bit more? Can we provide them recommendations? I feel like that's where we kind of fall off because it's like, thanks for your purchase. Like we don't do anything else to follow up from there, which I think is what we need to work on and create that relationship for them to feel valued, a VIP. We appreciate their business. So how can we elevate it after the fact as well?
Yeah, and I would just ask, like, why do you both think that this is such an underinvested, like the post-purchase experience? Like, why do we feel like it's so underinvested from our clients?
I'd probably say maybe because some brands think like, all right, after the fact, following up with them, if it's not going to drive any revenue, what's the point?
Yeah.
Maybe that's the thought process there. But then for us, it's like we want to create that relationship. So even if a sale isn't coming out of it, you're still creating that bond for them to maybe come back later and purchase.
Yeah, I cannot plus one that enough where it's hard, right? As humans, we're motivated for the dopamine hit of like you get the purchase, you get the
Yeah.
revenue, and then all of us have the things on our to-do list where it's like, oh, it's not gonna actually instantly give me a dopamine hit, so I'll do it later. Right, and that's not anyone's fault, but
No.
I also think it's because it's really hard. Most marketers don't have the data. They don't know what works. And so it's the like, am I screaming into the void as I'm doing this really hard thing that I'm not sure is going to drive the results, right? Like we all know AI is going to, make us work like 10 men. But the reality is that's not true. Time is still the most limited resource. And it's really hard when you don't have the data to know what you should be doing, where you should be going. So you focus on the things that have always driven your results. And that's no one's fault.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I would say too, like, do we feel like then brands are maybe over communicating, but then under contextualizing what we're trying to get from clients, right? And how we're able to communicate with them? Do you feel like there's maybe in, the point too of having a lot of AI ads and things out there, do you feel like a lot of it is getting missed because of that kind of like that human connection?
It could be. I mean, I feel like some brands I'm subscribed to are over communicating in the wrong way.
Mm.
Like if I'm not engaging with your last 5 emails and you're still pushing that same message towards me, maybe it's like, ooh, get the hint kind of. So I definitely see some brands over communicating in the wrong way, but we should be utilizing AI to segment users based off how they are communicating with the emails or how they're browsing on the website, like creating those granular segments to send the right message to them.
And then,
Also, what channel
mm,
you're communicating on. Sorry, just to
sure,
chime in there. Like
no.
so much of that is there's really good tooling out there within Klayvio and our amazing tech partners of, I'm a good example of this. I do not interact on SMS except for the few brands that I love and
Same.
actually really react to SMS,
Yeah.
right? But it's so important that it's not about the Gina at a macro level. It's actually about at a brand specific level. Where are you messaging to me? Are you speaking to me in email? Is it WhatsApp? Is it SMS? And then what is that message? What's the right time? Like, please don't message me in the middle of the workday. It's actually a really good way for you to instantly for me to unsubscribe, right? Like
Yeah.
that's not what I'm doing. That's not where my brain is. But actually being able to get that level of depth of focus is so important at a per person. And that's so much of, again, like we can do a lot of volume with AI, but there's actually a really good opportunity to do more granular quality with AI.
Mhm.
Yeah. And I know when we connected in person last week, Gina, you kind of talked about Case Social and what the Klayvio team is doing with that. I'd love to dig in a little bit more because that's definitely all connected here.
Yeah, I couldn't be more connected. So much of this is actually to the point of loyalty and the top of the funnel. A lot of what we're doing is really opening up the fact that, hey, when someone is interacting with your brand on something like an Instagram, right? The most common in terms of where we're seeing that bi-directional interaction, maybe before someone's even an email subscriber. Oh, that's so important, and actually so important to be able to get someone's contact information. And like if someone's DMing, if someone's commenting, those are actually retention signals, right? In the traditional like retention marketing sense of the word, it's all still part of that relationship, and being able to actually get that information. And it's interesting, we're seeing a lot more of that automation. I don't know if you all have seen this, but now when I subscribe to an account, I often actually get an automated welcome message in Instagram, right? In the way that we're all used to welcome flows. How are we thinking about it? How are you actually bringing all that data together that someone is maybe actually really active and commenting and liking your social presence? And how is that going to impact how you speak to them? And that's a lot of what Case Social actually opens up, is bringing those signals into Klayvio in that depth of actually being able to see, what's your user generated content. We're working to really build out that depth of understanding and bring it all back into when we think about Klayvio as the CRM from which you're operating your business. It's a really important piece of the puzzle, is seeing that what's actually happening on social and how folks and how specific people are engaging with your presence on social.
And how important it is to
I would
communicate correctly, kind of to your point,
Yes.
Gina, of where do they want to be reached out to and how. And sorry, Nadine, go ahead.
No, you're good. I didn't mean to interrupt, but I did have kind of a hot take.
Yeah.
I personally love when I start to see, like when I'm engaging with a brand, and then I go on social and I start to see their ads and product recommendations. I feel like the algorithm is just understanding me a little bit more and more and what I like. And then from there, if I'm browsing on Instagram and then I'm like, you know what, now I'm shopping because I saw an ad of a dress that I really liked. I feel like when all of the channels are working together, for me, I love that experience. I feel like it's actually meaningful, even though I know it's probably like powered by AI, but it's getting to know me, my likes, and that's what's going to get me to go back and keep shopping with the brand. So personally, I love it. I wonder if other people do. I don't think
I
people
mean,
are so sick of ads nowadays, but
no, I definitely do too. Like, no judgment here. That's how I found my engagement ring that I wanted. So I totally get
there
it.
we go. Yeah.
Wow, that's a big ticket purchase,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. And
High consideration, lots of research.
Yeah, and I was like, wow, it just kind of popped up on my Instagram. Perfect, right? I didn't have to tick anymore, and I just sent the link like, yeah, this is the one that I'd like. So yeah, it just I'm all for personalization, right? And being able to, well, just kind of understand how much a brand understands me, right? Like, I think that's really important, especially for bands that you love. You do become loyal to them, right? Like, you're a little more comfortable purchasing from them again. They understand you a little bit more. You understand the sizing. I know that's a big thing. And, the women's market too, sizing, all that fun stuff. Like, yeah, just all good news. So I may be just the digital marketer nerd in me, but.
Fair.
Sorry, on the sizing and those kinds of questions, I'll say that it's another really hard blind spot for marketers, to be honest. And AI this is one of those. I hope everyone's like keeping score of how many times we say AI, because I think there's a legal minimum for this to be a podcast about marketing for us to be published.
Yep, that's what I
So we gotta hit our quota. But the things like sizing, asking about materials, fit, finish, ingredients, those are all really huge marketing and, quite bottom of the funnel purchasing signals that I think a lot of marketers don't actually see, because customer service has traditionally been so siloed. So the same way we're thinking about really pulling in social and those interactions. And Nadine, I'm so with you. I want to train the algorithm to shop for me. You know my taste, you surface it. So
Yeah.
I was like, I let the powers that be tell me who I am. But the same way that it's been really hard for marketers to have that visibility into, frankly, like how many of the people listening here know the top return reason and the top questions for their 5 best sellers. And I bet not many of them, and certainly many of them, aren't making it a bi-directional selling conversation or thinking about how they're actually updating their messaging to answer those questions. And we're thinking a lot at Klayvio, particularly with our service offering, and how can you actually have AI answer those questions, right? Instead of having to pay a human to answer your FAQs. Like we don't need a human to answer about sizing and materials and ingredients when we have those, but also making sure that's all getting written back to the profile. And again, getting deeper and deeper with that targeting. Like it doesn't just have to be, the metas of the world that have that ability to do that level of what feels like magic training the algorithm, but actually is just like they're really good at accessing all the data we give them, right? It's why it feels like, oh, I just talked about this thing and now is my phone listening? And it's like, well, no, you paused for half a second longer. And so the algorithm knows that. And it's about, we really want to give that power to marketers as well to give that complete picture.
Yeah, definitely. And then, yeah, I guess a really good question I think we all have is what does good personalization actually mean now, right? For brands.
Yeah, I feel like before it was always, include their name and target them on their birthday, like all the basics, which we were excited about when we had those features, obviously. But now I think it's more than that. Everyone's kind of using those. So it doesn't maybe feel super personal if you're just doing the basics, but then it goes to those recommendations. If I have an email and it says products you might like, and it's actually things that I feel like are my style, then I know that the brand is listening. The algorithm is funneling all the data that I'm interested in.
I think that's exactly it. That we've all been trained. And again, it's one of those things where I think that the us here talking about it and the folks listening to this podcast, we all see it a little more than the average consumer. When I see an ad where someone's advertising, for example, men's clothing to me, I'm like, ooh, like that sucks for your ROAS. Ooh, I'm not your target audience, right? And the average consumer doesn't think like that. When I search something and I see on Google Shopping, and I'm like, that is not at all what I'm trying to do. And I'm like, that's an expensive, right, spot.
Yeah.
People don't think like that. So I think that the bar, we can be a little in our echo chamber about how deep we have to be. I think that particularly for smaller brands or brands with really legacy tech stacks, to your point, Nadine, like there is still such a huge opportunity with getting the basics right. There's just so many times that actually when I have to go sign in to go look for my orders, right? And it takes me away from the page. I can't actually do it. And then I have to go, then they make me go find my order number and I have to navigate away. And then the actual things that they're showing me in the account, one, there's sometimes like no merchandising on the account. What's going on? Well, you guys are missing out on really valuable real estate. You know exactly who I am. I'm signed in, right? But even just like the clunkiness of that experience, that's the opportunity for personalization, right? It's the actual like friction touch points where there's just such a good opportunity with that data consolidation. And then again, like some of it is actually the fundamentals, some of it is actually the basics, knowing that I've ordered floral, woody, whatever type of scent, and then you have a new product drop, and actually just making sure that you're highlighting that one, right? And that that, hey, like your new favorite scent just dropped. It doesn't have to be complicated to be really, really powerful to show that you actually know who your buyer is.
Hmm. Yeah, I personally love the creating transactional emails in Klaviyo because you can funnel in all the products, the order number, their billing, shipping. Like you can make it so personal within that email, and then of course style it how you like. So all the information that the user is looking for is built within that one email versus that generic. Yep, click this link, add your order number, find your order history. Like, as users nowadays, we just want everything handed to us. So we have to create that experience for our customers too.
If you want to take a deeper look of what's actually working across channels, we have an up-and-coming webinar that you won't want to miss. We're teaming up with Klayvio for the state of omnichannel marketing in 2026. We'll break down insights from Klayvio's latest benchmark report, based on data from more than 110,000 e-commerce brands. Join us Wednesday, August 19th at 10 a.m. Central to hear about the latest benchmarks that's happening in email, SMS, AI, personalization, and where brands are leaving revenue on the table. Register using the link in the description, and we'll see you there.
Yeah. It's funny the shift from this felt like a little bit creepy to like, this is my favorite thing, right? That things pop up and I love it.
Right?
It's a little easier
You're
to
nerding
shop
out
now.
for sure over here.
Yeah, I guess I would say, we really wanted to touch on omnichannel, right? And kind of our approaches. So, how should marketers really think differently about just omnichannel experiences? I know that means so much now, right? It's such a broad, like, we could go on for hours about that, right? But yeah, I'd love to hear your hot takes on this.
Well, I know for me as an email marketer, clients always ask, like, we're interested in SMS. And I always have to first see if they're a candidate for it. Just because it's offered doesn't mean it'll work for your business or your strategy. So when you are utilizing things like email, SMS, your social media channels, you have to figure out where your users first are engaging the most. Like there's one brand I'm subscribed to, and I engage with their text messages way more than their emails. And it shows because they're always texting me. And for me, it's not annoying because that's how I like to engage with them. I want to know when the flash sales are. I don't check my email all the time. So being able to segment like their opening text campaigns way more than emails will target them there. But maybe every once in a while you can send them an email. So not just because you have access to all these amazing channels doesn't mean you need to fire at them all at once, but finding out where that user is engaging the most.
I just couldn't agree more. I think that omnichannel can feel really overwhelming and can get really hard because it's, well, what do I put in what message? And a huge part of that is, I think that one, it's right place, right time, right person. Couldn't agree more. But actually, I think the next step and what we're really seeing as the opportunity is uh, we've talked a lot. It's been 5 years, 6 years. When did we start talking about conversational marketing? It's been a long time. And for a long time, it was quite templated and formatted, and it had to be an if then or give you two options. And what's your favorite color, pink or purple? Let me serve you a purple shirt when you pick purple. Uh, and you had to then, as a marketer, also manage that in whatever system or even worse systems you were using across all the different channels, and then figure out the attribution, right? And then how are you writing back? And it's a lot. And now with AI, what we're seeing is the huge unlock of all of those channels. We can actually deliver on conversational marketing, right? And actually, you can do the flash sale. One of your favorites is on, you favorited something on the website. You get an SMS. It says, hey, flash sale, like one of your favorites is on sale today. Do you have any questions? Right? Or even more powerfully, do you have any questions about sizing, texture, or wear? Right? Because those are the top questions. And then you get the consumer, right? Your end customer can actually ping you back their questions and say, hey, yeah, is this sheer or opaque? And you're able to respond and say, oh, this is like a really nice sheer gossamer. Are you looking for sheer or opaque? And then also serve more product recommendations, right? As we actually look in particularly for our international markets, thinking about, hey, what about WhatsApp? What about the like add to buy functionality right from there, right? There's so much power when you think about omni-channel, not as outbound, but actual inbound conversations, which I will say is one of the places, that there's a huge opportunity as well of centralizing in one CRM. Because if everything I just said sounds wildly overwhelming to then manage, is there's a reason that we're talking to the folks here at American Eagle. They're really the experts in being able to help brands, manage what can feel really chaotic and really hard to actually prove if it's working. But also, again, the power of having one unified place that you have that sense of, what are the differences in our preferences? Maybe all three of us want that text or want that email about the flash sale, but even having that depth of difference of what to serve us and how our response is and writing all of that back is just so difficult to do, frankly, if you're trying to manage your life out of 15 tabs open and then to figure out and prove out what worked last quarter, this quarter, even last year.
Mm-hmm. And I do want to add how those two-way conversations, seeing what users are sending and getting an idea on all their questions helps with the post-purchase journey as well. Sending those follow-up emails on those frequently asked questions, or customers are asking how to take care of this product. Based off all that data you learn in those two-way conversations, you can funnel it into the post-purchase journey without having to guess and test, because you already have an idea on what users are asking too.
Yeah, and I think when we visited last week too, Gina, Klayvio is doing some pretty incredible things with customer agent and being a little bit more interactive with the clients that land, right? So we'd love to hear more about that.
Yeah, that's truly what I was referencing in terms of being able to do that prompted and then the response. We actually have customer agent within Klayvio, and that's it's the ability to both do the marketing side of that and then the actual support side, and being able to deflect, right, the things that for the marketers on the call, it's just worth sending a ping to whoever leads support at your firm and ask hey, what are the top metrics you're focused on? Hey, what are the questions that are really repetitive that eat your team's time? How can I help? Most likely when you actually map those to the funnel, those are also breaks in the funnel for you. Those are the things that are leading to abandoned cart. Those are the things that are leading to poor reviews, right? And you can actually work together, and particularly by unifying that data, right? It doesn't make any sense if it is a great use case of this is that, order editing. Someone makes an order and then realizes that, oh, shoot, I need to add a gift note. I actually had this happen, not on a website that had customer agent, and it required the full canceling the order to then rebuy it, right, with the gift note, because I was like, this is going to show up as just a rogue package. I can't do that. With customer agent, you can actually chat in and folks like American Eagle can help you set it up where it actually, the AI on the back end checks, has this order processed? Is it being fulfilled? Oh, it hasn't yet. Yes, your order is eligible for a gift note. Your end customer actually updates the gift notes and then follows up with, hey, also, these are really popular gifting picks. Do you want to add them to your order? And all of a sudden, we're deflecting that support conversation, right? Ooh, the magic of AI, we're getting more effective, and your support teams are able to answer the more complicated, right? Not the really just mechanical pieces of work. And increase AOV, bigger basket size, right? More of that surprise delight. This is great. Go ahead and add it. Just really just working hand in glove. Huge opportunity with customer agents. We're really excited about it, and we're really thinking about this as, I hate you saying the word agentic. It's true. We're really thinking of this as an agentic platform where it's opened up and really customizable, right? That is the opportunity, not something that sits on one channel, but actually something that is everywhere where your shoppers are, and trained on that richness of data and customer relationships that you have.
Yeah, and it feels very intentional, right? It gives a great brand experience, makes everything a little bit easier for the client to pop around and obviously pop back, right? If that's something that happened to me, I'm like, well, this is probably my go-to for gifts from now on, right? You don't have to worry about, things going wrong or double charges on a card or all that fun stuff. So yeah, I just thought that was really cool when you were talking through it last week. So wanted to make sure we touched on that for sure.
Well, I have a hot take that I just remember I get a platform. My hot take is that the AI hype is always 5 to 6 months ahead of where AI is. And so for everyone listening, you're not behind as long as you're experimenting and trying AI and incorporating it into your workflows, and there's a lot of acronyms and a lot of buzz and a lot of it's going to take over the world. And actually, there's just a lot of places that it can make your job feel a lot more interesting. Right?
Yeah.
You get to do the fun parts of your job, and you get to spend more of that creative thinking, right? Because AI is so powerful, but it's also really a predictive engine, right? It's like the next most likely word is what these models are actually doing. And really, that human creativity and really taste are not things that AI can bring. And those are the things that you all, the listeners, can bring. And so, one, my hot take is that like AI is not taking over the world. It is making your job much more interesting and fun if you start experimenting and just bite size. And then it really snowballs in terms of it keeps opening up your eyes, being like, oh, yeah, I could also do this. Oh, I should try this. And it doesn't work. And then you try 2 months later, and like magic, right? The models or whatever has changed and you're able to do it. So, really, just my plea to like, don't be scared, but definitely experiment and start incorporating AI.
Yeah, I think definitely our tag here is always AI is a tool, right? Like, as
Yes.
we are human first, everything that we do, and AI can be an incredible tool, right? Once we know how to use it, and especially in our day to day workflows, like you said, you have a little bit more fun and creative time where you can come up with some incredible things, right? When you don't have to do the day to day tasks that bog us down a little bit. How do we think AI changes life cycle engagement for us?
I think it's just gonna streamline everything and make it easier. Like you said, it's a tool. We shouldn't heavily rely on it. And I think that's where maybe some people get discouraged because they want it to do everything for them, but you still got to feed it and have it learn. So using it as a tool to streamline, your processes and you still being the thinker and the like executor behind it.
Yeah, and then I think the last question that we had that's pretty broad and again something that we really touched on too was what does the future of customer relationships look like for us?
For sure. If any of us knew the for sure answer, I have big questions as to why any of us are working. So just that's the I'm already on a beach question if we
Yeah.
knew for sure.
Yeah.
Oh, caveat, but Nadine, I can't wait to hear your answer here.
I know it's so hard to tell. I just hope that it's utilized to be there if the human can't. If that makes sense. Because I feel like when I go on social media, I see brands getting ripped apart for like the most basic things because maybe they don't have like a customer service rep behind the scenes that can help answer their questions or find their order. And it's like, well, an AI agent can help with that if it's implemented. So I just hope brands stop seeing customers just as that dollar value and can curate more of an experience for them. They're there to answer questions. If things go wrong, they don't wait until they're getting bashed on social media to comment like we want to make this right. And I think that's what's hurting a lot of the brands out there now. So hard to tell, but I hope they just create more of that personalized experience with their customers.
Yeah, and I think we are seeing that a lot too, where we kind of get to a point with some of our clients where they're looking for a reputation management because they haven't thought that way, right?
Mhm.
Which is good news for us. We have some partnerships there, but it's so incredibly important, right, to make sure that you're thinking about, your clients as a way that's long term, not short term, right? Oh, well, Gina, Nadine, thank you so much for chatting with me. Like I said, this has come off like an incredible meeting that we had in person last week at the Klayvio office in Boston. So glad I got to meet you in person, Gina. And Nadine, thank you so much for everything that you do at American Eagle and, keeping our clients really happy on Klayvio. She's definitely our Klayvio expert. So yeah, just appreciate you both for your time. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for listening to the Lessons for Tomorrow podcast. Find out more about AmericanEagle.com services and today's topic in the description below. Like, comment, subscribe, give us 5 stars, and share this episode with others. This podcast is brought to you by AmericanEagle.com Studios, and we'll catch you in the next lesson.